What's up, fellas? I'm posting a quick review on this Pittsburgh two-stage vacuum pump. I know there's a lot of reviews on this pump, but I'm noticing guys are posting reviews and promoting products simply to get YouTube views, and there's a problem with that. A lot of the times they're promoting straight crap. So don't think I'm a negative guy if you notice a lot of my videos only point out flaws in products. That's a majority of what I focus on is the flaw, because why would I post a video about something that's just fine and there's hundreds of other videos about it. So anyway, in this video I'm going to show you some problems that I've noticed with this pump and some problems I encountered with this kit. Let me show you exactly what kit we have here. This is the kit I also bought with the pump. I think I paid like 300 bucks for this pump and this manifold set. I want to say that's about what it cost me. Maybe that included the AC canisters. But the first thing I want to tell you about this kit that caused me a lot of problems is that it's not a complete kit. I bought this kit, grabbed a couple of cans of AC recharge, came home, went to hook up the bottle, and damn, found out the kit didn't contain one of these. You have to have a bottle puncture nozzle to use this manifold setup, or you got to buy an entire tank of Freon in it, or the R134, whatever it is, inside of a tank. And that's a huge problem for me. I needed to charge one air conditioner, not 50. So back to the store I went and had to buy a puncture nozzle. There's a little needle in there that punctures the bottle and allows the refrigerant to enter the system. Okay, I rigged all this stuff up because I wasn't going to the hardware store too. I was just in a war that day with a car. All right, so this is the cobbled up mess that I have now. My hoses are all cut up. I used this in an experiment recently, is why it's cut, but this was connected like this, and that's how I had to get my refrigerant into the system. This piece here, I basically just, you can use the high pressure hose pretty much, I think, for connecting the manifold to the setup, and then just use this hose to hook the bottle up. So you didn't have to necessarily have all three hoses hooked up when you're recharging an AC system. If you want to check the pressure, you kind of just had to swap the hoses on this deal. So it's not a complete kit. So when you go out and buy this, just remember it does not include a puncture nozzle that allows you to get into the system. So rather than cut it up, I suppose what you could have done, rather than be an idiot like me, is simply unhook the setup from the car, and these little valves here are what connect you to the car. Suppose I could have just disconnected these and hooked up the bottle rather than cut my hose up. For some reason I cut this hose. There may have been a reason. I'm not at the car right now actually doing the job, so that detail evades me. It could just be that I'm an idiot. But that seems like to me like that. If you weren't an idiot, that's what you would do. You'd just disconnect the hose, then hook this up, fill the system. I mean, you might lose a hair bit of vacuum, but I've found that so far anyway, that little bit of a leak and the depressurized system's not that big of a deal. My car hissed for a couple of seconds when I did my job, and I haven't seen any problems yet. It was still pretty high vacuum. But here's the next problem. Just to show that it does in fact bring this thing down to 30 inches of mercury, which by the way would have to be concluded by another gauge. You can't just use one gauge when you're actually calibrating or testing equipment. I found that out the hard way. I'm going to turn it on, and I want you to notice the amount of smoke coming out of it. It'll pull that 30 inches, but look at the oil vapor coming out of this thing. I don't know if that's normal, but you sometimes have to run these things for a half hour It'll just keep coming out of there. See it right there? Typically, when you're doing an air conditioner job, I'm pretty sure that you vacuum the system down for a half hour. So this thing gets very hot in that half hour. The oil vapor just continues to spew out of it. I don't know that that's normal. I'm inclined to believe something's up. I don't know if I have a defective unit. I'm not posting this video to trash the product, but it's pretty typical of Chinese trash. It should be a law that that's the name of the Harbor Freight store. I bought a torque wrench from there one day. Man, oh man. Okay, so there you go. Just giving you guys a heads up. I'm not knocking it. It's a great vacuum pump. It does 30 inches of mercury. For an example, this refrigerator compressor that I have will only do like 28.5 inches of mercury. So this two-stage definitely does the deal. I don't know the maximum vacuum. It's obviously not 30 inches of mercury, guys. Okay, you need a freaking $10,000 vacuum pump to pull a 30-inch vacuum. Sorry, not buying it. Maybe on the gauge it says 30 inches of mercury, but vacuum pumps operate down to the microns. Let me show you what I'm talking about here, just for the purpose of observation. Okay guys, I did do some digging and found the actual specifications of this pump. It goes down to 22.5 microns. Now, though the gauge goes down to the 30 inches, that's not 100% vacuum. That's pretty deceiving. So let me show you where we are in the real world with vacuum pumps. Basically what it comes down to, fellas, is we fall into this bracket right here. You can see here, this is the percent of vacuum. You can see 100% vacuum is like down to the microns. 10 microns is 99.999 microns. Or 9%, I mean. 99.999%. So, as I said, we are basically stuck in this bracket because they don't have 22 microns. So, we are looking at inches of mercury gauge. So we're at 29.916 inches of mercury. So that's a pretty impressive vacuum, but it's not 30. And notice that nowhere on here do they even have 30. 100% vacuum isn't even represented as 30 inches of mercury. So the gauge is, you know, Chinese. And it says 30 inches of mercury, but it's not. It'd be kind of cool if somehow they made it a little bit more accurate. I suppose I'm just way too picky, but just for reference of where this thing is on the scale of vacuum pumps, let's look at one more little cool thing about vacuum pumps. How much would it cost us to get down to 10 microns? Right now we're looking at about 150 bucks, I believe. I think I paid 200 for this thing. I could be wrong. I'll leave a link in the description where you guys can check probably the cheapest price I can find. I don't know if this is it. But yeah, let's see what it costs to get down to 10 microns. Okay, so this bad boy right here will do it. 10 microns. That's pretty impressive. How about 5 microns? That's only, what did I say, $260? Okay, here we go, guys. If you want 1.5 microns, you're looking at $2 grand. 0.75 microns is $5,000. So it's crazy how getting down to them last few microns can really cost you a lot of money. For whatever reason, this one here is 22 microns. And they want 9 grand for that. So that's kind of crazy. This is a pretty cool website right here. Across International. I don't know if you've ever checked it out, but they've got all kinds of stuff. Look at this place, man. It's like a gold mine for cool stuff you will never see unless you work somewhere cool. Man, that's got to be like some pharmaceutical stuff right there. Or they make drugs to kill you. Or they make drugs that make you sick, so you need to buy more drugs that get you sicker. Gotcha. Alright, so there it is. Just thought I'd do a quick little video on that. It's not the worst thing in the world, but the fact that it smokes, I don't know what the ramifications are of breathing that vapor or something like that, but it definitely won't stop smoking, especially after you put a vacuum on it. So maybe over time it'll burn that out of there. I'm tempted to take this thing apart, but because I'm actually going to use it, I don't want to actually accidentally damage a gasket or something. There might be some precision gasket in there that I could mess up, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to bother messing with it because this is a two-stage vacuum pump. I don't know the level of precision, and oftentimes they do have gaskets that require replacement once removed in order for the unit to work right. For example, the gaskets in impact wrenches and things like that. So there you have it. I don't know if I'd say to buy this or not. It hasn't broke on me yet, but the second it does, I'll post a video. Just wanted to warn you guys, when you go to buy this, you're going to have to grab the canister puncture nozzle. Man, I can't talk today. So there you have it. That's my 2 cents.